I have with me none other than the Revenue Secretary Tarun Bajaj on the GST day when GST completed 5 years. So many congratulations. GST has achieved a landmark journey of 5 years. Of cooperative federalism is the target, but many states we have seen from time to time attack that spirit of cooperative federalism. What will you say?
Thank you for congratulating me on the GST 5 years. Congratulations to you as well. You have seen the GST growing from a very difficult phase to a very stable phase now. On your question, I'll not like to give you a political reply, but I'll say that I sit in the council meetings as member secretary and have some role to play. As I have said it earlier, I don't see the narrative that I hear inside the meeting. The inside meetings are very conducive, they are very positive, and I can't even single out even one member who is not in line with the decisions of the council. All decisions are taken unanimously, and I should quote you the last council meeting that we had in Chandigarh. I had planned a meeting till 7 p.m. on both the days, and you know that we've almost finished our agenda on the first day, and that too by 5 p.m. So I think everybody understands what it is, and everybody is taking decisions for the welfare of the people and welfare of the state and the country as a whole.
So the extension of the compensation cess was one of the agenda that all the states pushed for, and we do know that the revenue position that you have clarified to earlier, the cess will be repaid back till 2026. But do you seriously, what is the actual position of the revenue growth of the states? Will they seriously have that devastating effect on their revenue as some of the states have said?
I would say first thing is that as such formally, if you talk, this was not on the agenda, but some of the states actually wanted to speak on it. So the chairperson of the council said that she would like to hear what the states have to say. And as she has said, about 16, 17 states spoke, out of which at least 4 or 5 of them also said that we need to look at ways to get out of this compensation thing, and we should be on our own legs. As far as revenues are concerned, as I have mentioned, that we've gone through a very difficult phase of COVID, and irrespective of GST, even if we were in VAT days, the tax revenues would have gone down. It is not because of GST that they went down during those 2 years. They actually have gone down in every area of the states also, state taxes also. But last year, which is 21-22, our revenues are almost more than 30% more than what they were the year before. And as I have said, that the GDP growth is 19.5%, so there's a good buoyancy of GST. In the first quarter, my average GST is 1.51 lakh crores, and it is 37% more than the last year. Even if this stabilizes at 25 or 30%, I think a lot of concerns of the states would be taken care of by increase in revenues that the GST has started generating. My own estimate is that we should not have an average for the current year. We should have the average closer to 1.50, whether it is closer to 1.55 or closer to 1.50 is a matter that we'll know in the coming months. But the first quarter, especially May and June, are difficult months. We've got a good GST revenue during these 2 months. Unless the economy gives us some surprises, and if we are able to achieve 1.55, I think the CAGR of GST revenues in spite of COVID would be closer to about 12%. If that happens, then we are very close to 14%. And in any case, the growth in the VAT was about 8.5 to 9% in the earlier days. So I think on revenue front, this year, about lakh 10,000 crores, 15,000 crores obviously would go to states as compensation also. 89,000 has already been given. Some more would go in the year. So this year, I don't think that states should face so much of concern on that. But on the compensation, I have nothing more to add what the FM said. And today is the 1st of July. We don't have the compensation extended.
The interim report of Bommai committee was submitted, and they will be submitting the remaining report, which intends to move towards the revenue neutral rates. That's what I understand. So do you think, considering the current inflation scenario and the RBI also expectation on the inflation, we have seen what they have given till fourth quarter, it does not seem to be reducing. Do you think that moving towards revenue neutral rate is the right time? And if not, then when would be the right time?
I would say that there is no mandate to the Bommai committee to move to a revenue neutral rate. Let me say this categorically. They are looking at three areas. One is exemptions, the other is inverted duty, and the third is rate rationalization. Rate rationalization, I'm sure, also will see that if the rates are higher on some commodities, they would also be lowered. So first thing, very clearly, no mandate to just bring it to the revenue neutral rate, and there's a huge gap between the revenue neutral rate and the current rates. And I think all of them are finance ministers of states, and the union finance minister is also sitting in that. I think they are more sensitive and conscious of the inflation than anybody, I would say, as much as anybody else. So I think they'll take a conscious decision as to what should be done and when it should be done, and we should have faith, and you will get to know as and when the next council meeting takes place and what decisions are taken. I'm sure the economic environment in the country, the economic situation will also be taken care of or will be kept in mind while taking a decision in this regard.
Looking at the additional expenditures that we have had this financial year because of the various global factors as well, all eyes are on you to help them out and bail them and get the additional revenues. So what are your expectations? Will you be able to manage the burden?
I would say the expenditure secretary or the finance secretary keeps telling me that there's an additional burden on account of fertilizers, on account of food, on account of a few other things, and then we'll have supplementary demand for grants. So obviously the expenditure would go up. And eyes on me is a wrong thing, because eyes are also on you to pay your taxes and to everybody in the country. I'm sure we'll be able to work it out and ensure that the fiscal deficit is also within the limits. I'm sure we'll be, a revenue department as a whole and the taxpayer community of this country, I'm sure will be able to assist that. And I should also mention, we are talking, today is the GST day, so we are talking of GST. But on the direct taxes, we had a growth of 49% in the last year. In the first quarter, we are close to about 42-43% growth over the same quarter or the same period of last year. So a growth of 40 plus over a 49% growth last year is a very good growth on direct taxes also. So I'm sure we are all aware of our responsibilities and working hard to ensure that the finances of the country and the economy of the country keeps growing.
Everybody today on the GST day, they did mention that still GST is work in progress and much needs to be done. Still there are some issues like merger of slabs that still remains pending as a long time demand. And also there was apparently a suggestion of increasing the 5% slab further if we can do that. So what is your outlook basically? When can we reach that stage?
I would say that this is for the council to decide, and the Bommai committee is already looking at it. So let us see what are the suggestions that they give, and then I am sure the council will take a wise decision based on the suggestions that come. I can't prejudge the Bommai committee to say whether they will ask for a merger of rates or they'll ask to abolish one rate and bring the other rates, and also to increase some rates or not increase some rates. So I think we should wait and watch.
Today you have the notification that was out today. They have increased the import duty on gold because it is also a non-essential item, and looking at the high current account deficit that we have, can we look at some more measures on other non-essential items so to reduce to our current account deficit?
Look, the items that cost us a lot and are affecting the current account deficit, one is the import of petroleum products. So those are pretty inelastic and we'll have to live with it. So gold was one of them, as you rightly mentioned, and what we also saw was that there was a sudden surge of import of gold. So it is in that context that the duty has been raised. So we hope that this will help in reducing the imports of gold in the country and in turn help the current account deficit, which is also one of the economic indicators that the Ministry of Finance and the RBI are quite aware of and want to ensure that it remains within limits.
On the fuel also today, there was a notification that has put export duty on all ATF petrol and diesel. Will that stay for some time now? Is that to stay? And how will you assess, like depending on the global prices that we see?
So that's a nice question, and I think I would like to inform the viewers and the people of this country through you that the idea is that there is a windfall profit. So the windfall profit is being shared now through these new taxes that have come in. And let me emphasize that part of the windfall profit has been left for the companies to keep. So it is not the complete windfall profit that has been extracted. How long does it continue? Till the time that the windfall profit is substantive or substantial, this would continue, but we will keep reviewing it every 14, 15 days depending on what the international price is. Because right now what the duties have been put is based on our assessment or on what the petroleum and natural gas told us of what the international prices of petrol, diesel, crude and ATF were. So based on that we have levied this duty. Every 15 days we'll keep watching the rates that are there in the international market. And if by any chance the crude prices, diesel prices come down, so this duty would go. So that is the clear answer rather than saying that it will continue for 4 days or 4 months.
So it can even go up if the crude prices go up further.
So we will keep watching the prices, international prices, and based on the windfall gains that they are getting, we'll keep, if need be, revising it maybe every 15 days.
There was also some confusion regarding the SEZs where some refineries are based. Will this tax be put on the refineries that are in the SEZ? Because there are also some quantum restrictions that have been put on the export of fuel.
The quantum restriction on export of fuel is from the DTA area. From the SEZ area, that is, there is no quantum or there is no quota that has been put up. But yes, you're right. The export tax that has been put up will also be applicable to the SEZ area, and they would also be required to pay the taxes.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to ET Now. Any last words? Because today is the GST day and we all are celebrating the GST day. So on the outlook of the GST, on the reforms, what would you like to say?
As I have said, GST, we are happy where we are. 5 years is too short a time in the history of any taxation system, and this is a taxation system that we had been waiting for very long. And the beginning of this taxation system was not very comfortable. So I would say in 5 years we have achieved a lot, but we can't sit on these accolades. We have to keep working. There's a lot of work to be done in terms of GST, some of which also was visible in your questions. So we'll keep working on it, keep improving. And I think what is important for us as tax administrators and at the policy level is to keep the taxpayer in our mind. What is it that we do? How does it affect him? Can we make his life a little more comfortable while at the same time ensuring that he pays the due taxes to us? With these two objectives, if we can achieve it, maybe the next year will be better and the years to come will be even better.
Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to ET Now. Thank you so much.